by Dr. Unoma Morikiba. Next, we want to acknowledge the presence of our team, the team of the Bible, Professor Jerry Ori. We are acknowledging the presence of our guest lecturer, Professor Daniel Ukonga. The next is to give the welcome address by the head of the department, Environmental Management and Toxicology, Professor Alex.
Good morning to you all. Good morning to you all. Are we happy today? Yes, sir. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin, Professor Lilian Messian Salami, ably represented by Dr. Udia Iko, former HOD, Department of HSE. My able dean, Faculty of Life Science, Professor N.E.J. Urwe. If you are clapping, clap very well. Director, Head of the Department, President, academic and non-academic staff, student, President. It is my singular honor to welcome you to the very first symposium organized by the Department of Environmental Management and Toxicology, and the first in the faculty. The symposium titled Strengthening Research Management Skills, Unlocking Academic and Global Impact is taking place here today because of the conducive milieu for learning and research provided by the Vice Chancellor of this great university. Moreover, the massive infrastructural development all over the campus is a clear testimony that Madam Vice Chancellor is an innovative, dedicated, goal-oriented, and visionary leader. I am particularly delighted to announce to you that the theme of this symposium is in line with the mission of the department, which is to develop the human mind to be creative, innovative, research-oriented, and competent in area specialization. The Senate of the University of Benin on the 3rd of July 2013 approved the creation of the Department of EMT from the then existing part-time environmental science unit domiciled in the Faculty of Life Science, fully vetted, and since then has been speedily growing. The department successfully had its first NUC accreditation in 2015 and had full accreditation. PMP and dedicated lecturers who study in eminent universities all over the world and are back to raise skilled, responsible ambassadors. EMT is blessed with 29 academic staff, 6 technology, and 4 administrative staff. I'm also delighted to inform the Vice Chancellor that the postgraduate program of the department has successfully commenced with lecture and student supervision ongoing. On the 5th of June 2023, The department fully participated in the celebration of World Environment Day in collaboration with the Nigerian Environmental Society, Friends of Nature Network, and Environmental Aid. May I say that the department is in dire need of facilities. The department at present, the management will respond to our needs so that we can benefit from the evident accelerated infrastructural development all over the campus. To all who are here today, I welcome you. I want to thank you for recognizing and associating with environmental management and toxicology. I implore you to sit back and learn from the guest speakers that are here today. To sit back and contribute to solving environmental problems and learning research skills that will aid in the management of the problems that inundate our society in the current time. I am grateful above all to God Almighty that have made the event to take off today.
It's also possible to have it to the spend next month and maybe a month. I want to thank you all for the cooperation, the business you head of the department, put it up front with all the room. This has been put together because you have given the media cooperation. Human capital development is an ongoing, never-ending process, especially in clients like ours that is fully devoted to the development of other human capital. Like someone said, you can't give what you don't have. How much your students will benefit from you will be dependent on how much you have been trained. It's not necessary that you have to go every time through format training by way of acquiring more degrees and so on and so forth. You know, have some experience like this, instead training like this are key to continuously developing capacity. And it's On that basis, I want to congratulate everyone in the department and also have compromised the department. Part of strength. I have no doubt in my mind that the resources that are very carefully selected to do justice to specific subject of all discussion. But that having said, I want to say that the Faculty of Life Sciences is blessed to have a vice chancellor at this University of Benin who does not turn her eye from what we go through at the department. And I've been at the Faculty of Life Sciences. I'm sure your students are aware of that. The visit is happening. At the Faculty of Life Sciences is very much situated at the center of our activities and at the center of our governmental programs. I think the last one went to see she was very important committee. After the thing that in the pipeline for the Faculty of Life Sciences. And for those of you who were present at the last congregation meeting, the visit is not high, in spite of what the law people left, right, and center. The very good people is in the pipeline for the Faculty of Life Science. He said to the club congregation. I think that when the least we owe her, we can show some measure of gratitude for the effort that is there. I think that also to address a lot of other issues, by the present president. And that's not records with and to appeal for Canada. Because like we know, like your people know, like I know, and like many of those who work in the faculty know, so much is being done at the moment to ensure that the lot of the faculty of EFT and the lot of faculty of life sciences is better. You actually did not say that we now have some hopes in the faculty of our chemistry, culture of the vice chancellor. Right? If you remember to say that, he should have said that. You are prepared, probably online, and you shouldn't run down the department when the DC is also making effort to do all she could to ensure that you're not better. I just know that I should clear and correct. More will come in terms of furniture, more will come in terms of public spaces, no doubt. Both the field was not used the data. What is wrong is to be best stagnant for too long. I'm sure if the administration has taken steps to address some of the things that it's addressing now, it probably will not be where we are today. So let's give Madam Vice a very loud. You know, I'm not going to I will say that what you have done well with you, all right. On that note, I'd like to once again welcome everyone to this symposium and ask that you sit back and take in all of the lectures that will be given. Please be participating, ask questions where you need to. Not enough we will be facilitated at the end of the symposium. It's sure that the knowledge intended is very much important. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Let us put our hands together and begin at the family for the while he was talking, the head of department, plant biology, Professor D. Yoko, is in the group. You are welcome. Please give it to the high school.
People in family, for primary question position of 50 of giving to the country, very of God to keep on the top of your pipeline, we apply practical environmental management of the ecology. Having said that, I have the honor and privilege to give a speech for the Vice Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I am pleased to welcome you to this exchange gathering focused on strengthening research management skills, unlocking academic and global impact. Today, we are gathered here to explore and discuss an essential aspect of endeavors. Research has always been the cornerstone of progress and innovation. It has the power to shape society, drive economic growth, and enhance our understanding of the world. However, the impact of research often goes hand in hand with effective research management. Today, we aim to shed light on these critical aspects of the research ecosystem, how to enhance research management skills to unlock academic and global impact. In today's rapidly changing world, traditional academic research no longer operates in isolation. It is interconnected with global challenges and pressing societal needs. Organizations across this globe are rethinking their strategies to align research efforts with these challenges. To effectively address these complex issues, that we equip our researchers, administrators, and managers with necessary skills to navigate evolving landscape. Focusing on research management highlights the importance of efficient planning, streamlined processes, and effective collaboration. Research managers are pivotal in ensuring that resources are optimally allocated, projects are well executed, and outcomes are needed to maximize impact. They are catalysts that bridge the gap between researchers, funders, policymakers, and various stakeholders, ensuring effective communication and knowledge exchange. Today's event will provide a platform for sharing experiences, best practices, and innovative approaches in research management. We are privileged to hear from a team collaboration and establish partnerships that can unlock academic and global impact. As we embark, let us embrace the opportunity. May this event serve as levels where ideas are exchanged, knowledge is distinct, and potential collaborations are forged. We encourage all participants to actively engage in discussions, share their perspectives, and contribute to the dialogue. And extend an heartfelt gratitude to each of you for participating in this significant gathering. Your presence here signifies your dedication to the advancement of respect and your commitment to making a meaningful impact on society. Let us therefore seize this moment and collectively work towards unlocking the true potential of research management. Thank you, and I wish everyone an enriching and insightful experience at this event today. These are the words of our Vice Chancellor. Thank you.
Adjourn. It is represented by Dr. Omori. We are very sorry. Dr. Ikusia. We are very sorry. we want to welcome our very own lecturer, because we have a glitch in the Zoom lecture for the guest speaker. So while we are waiting for that connection, the doctor cannot work with the before the lecture, we are going to invite Dr. Ray O'Reilly to give us his citation.
Good morning, everyone. There is depends on the existing protocol. Excuse me. I'll be taking the citation for Professor Daniel Okonkwo. Professor Daniel Okonkwo graduated with a first class BSc honors degree in industrial mathematics from the University of Illinois in 2000 as a Shell Petroleum and Development Company scholar. In 2004, he obtained his master's degree in mathematical modeling and scientific computing from the University of Oxford, United Kingdom. A Commonwealth scholar. In 2008, he obtained his PhD in mathematics from the University of Benin in Our very distinguished Professor Okonkwo is an applied mathematician with specialization in mathematical modeling and has published a book on mathematical modeling and over 60 articles on different modeling subjects. He is a larger chair in mathematical epidemiology in several national and international journals of repute. Professor Okonkwo has over 15 years in modeling, 13 PhD, on different mathematical modeling problems. Professor and recognition in the Shell Petroleum and Development Company scholar and the Commonwealth scholar. He is also the guest of the National University Commission, Nigerian University, around physics award for university PhD. The Nigerian University there for 2008. He resident of the Professor Adereli Kukunal Job Sciences Prize for mathematical science in the year 2016, awarded by the Nigerian Young Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Professor Daniel Okonkwo.
And then seeing how scientists or that is one thing I always enjoyed doing. Publishing, and then we'll conclude with how best we can disseminate our research. Okay, so I'm waiting for you. So you need the arrow key. Okay, you do. Okay, so while we are trying to fix that, like I said, we'll be talking more on data management, operators, publishing, and then we also look at how best we can disseminate our research results. Now, I'll be speaking more as a mathematician, but at the same time, I'll try my best to carry along those of you in the life sciences for you to see that really research doesn't discriminate amongst disciplines. It's all to achieve one goal, and that is solve the common problem. So whether you do it from the perspective of as a life science, or I do it from the perspective of a physical science, we are all into the same thing. We're just trying to solve a given problem. Now, first of all, for those of you in the life sciences, you are already used to data gathering and data collection. All right, so it's part of your job. Whatever analysis you want to do, whatever experiments you want to do, you are almost certainly going to collect data. Now, for us, the physical sciences, or for me as a mathematician, as a nodeler, I will be interested in what your data is saying before I can set up the models that can deal with the problem. So you can have a biological problem. I will have to wait for you to get the data for me. I will have to investigate the nature of the data, look at the data, analyze the data, then go ahead to formulate my own model that can give a description of what your data is trying to say. Now, one of the major things you do in data management is you have to worry about what kind of data you want to collect. Some of them are in microbiology, some are in EMT, some are in other areas of life sciences. Your specific discipline will obviously determine what kind of data you want to collect. And apparently, you could also have some data in the past that you want to combine with whatever you want to collect. The question you have to ask yourself would be, would they match, especially when they were taking through different epochs? An epoch would mean a given time period. So if I collected the data, say 10 years ago, I collected the data set for and I'm collecting the data set for that same problem now. The question is, can I combine those two data sets into one and assume that they will give me what we call about a continuum of the process? There could be a problem in that, but there could be a danger in that. What happened 10 years ago when we were collecting your data may not happen now or will not be happening now. Evidently, that will affect the nature of your data. So if you make them together, you could be portraying a wrong continuum of events. I'll give you a very simple example. If somebody collects data during the COVID period, it's evident that the COVID pandemic itself will affect one, the nature of the data, and two, the size of the data. So if you compare that with the period when there was no COVID, when there was no pandemic, and then you are trying to force both data sets to work together, then that will cause problems for you. Let's go to the next slide. So this is what I was trying to do. Eventually, in all areas of human endeavor, you just have to collect data, you just have to gather data, and then try to make sense of the data. And then when you make it of your data, you can turn that into some results that you publish in books or in journals. Next slide, please. Okay, so here it's just trying to give us a few. There's really so much you can talk about when it comes to data management and habits. But we're going to talk about just a few. First of all, you have to identify what data you want to collect. And secondly, you have to ask yourself, is it important for me to gather primary data or I could simply use secondary data? I want to believe you are familiar with this term. Primary data, that is, you are actually carrying out an experiment that gives you original data, your own. Or secondly, you just have to check somewhere and you trust that that somewhere is reliable enough to give you accurate data. You have to decide that for yourself. One thing most of us do not know is that you can actually get data from graphs, figures. There are software nowadays that can extract data from a graph. So you don't just have to wait for a table, a list of numbers, columns and rows for you to get data. I can assure you, if you can find a plot, a graph on the internet, as far as you're allowed to use it, there are softwares that can plot out everything, both the X axis, data from the Y axis, and if it's a three-dimensional graph, it also do that for you. So that's another source of data that you may want to check out. It's important that you keep the metadata accurate. By metadata will be information around your data. Who is the author of the data? When was it gathered? How was it used? Keep this information. Like I told you, when a data set was gathered, it's important on how you use it. If you use it wrongly, then the results of the will be wrong. You should worry about storage. How do you store your data? How do you keep your data? Are you going to keep it in your laptop? Are you going to keep it in a desktop? Are you going to put it in a cloud? Now we are not getting cloud like Google Cloud and so on. So you could upload your data. Therefore, you just have to be very careful. If you are dealing with very, very sensitive document, very sensitive data, you become there to upload it into a cloud that maybe not know to be hacked into. So you can worry about that. Then what about multiple copies of the data set? It's always advised. If I have a data set, maybe I go into one river and I'm trying to investigate the toxicity level of a particular part of the river and the effect it has on the species of fish. It's time consuming, it's money consuming, then I gather this information. Is it wise for me to leave it in my laptop? What of it the laptop gets stolen? What of it crashes because we bought cheap laptop at mission? You have to worry about that. Then if you talk about storage, could you have multiple storages? Of course, it's wise. Something else that sometimes in this country we don't take or we take for granted is the issue of ethics. Now, the issue of life sciences, obviously, you follow your ethical procedures very well when it comes to data collection and usage. But for most of all, we will not even further the issue of ethics, the legal implications of what we are using our data for, what are collecting our data for. We need to worry about that. If you don't, you could run into legal problems when it comes to the Data Protection Act. The recent project passed by the Nigerian government, that just signed by the former president, shows that now you, as an individual, have the right to ask for the data to be deleted under certain conditions. You have that right. Of course, they excluded some government agencies that you can't ask them to delete certain information about you. But that tells you how serious it is when it comes to data protection. So you have to follow ethical procedures, legal procedures when it comes to what you use your data for. One. Move on. So, like I said, this is information you need to have, naming your files, cataloging them, archiving them properly, and then the issue of sharing your data. How well do you share your data and who do you share with? Look at the legal implications. Effectively, there are documents that are in place that will help us follow best practices when it comes to data gathering, data use, data collection, data transfer. We can find them in several spots. For example, we have this recommendation of the Committee on Publication of Disease, and that committee has, I think University has one, that guides on how you gather data, what you do with it, and how you spread them. Like I said, it's important to worry about confidentiality of sensitive data. Those of you in the clinical sciences, you are collecting data involving humans, sensitive information involving people. I remember when I was doing my PhD, and I needed data on tuberculosis, because my PhD work was on modeling the dynamics of TB. So some of you will be saying, what is the information I'm doing with TB? Yes, that is it. We were investigating the effect of the issue of testing of our students. What are they doing it now? Those days when we students there, it's compulsory you must do the man-force test at the health center. They still do it, I want to do so. So we didn't want the names of the students for at least 20 years. Just tell us how many students. Of course, we all know 30% of man-force test does not necessarily mean the sentence. It just simply tells us that you have been exposed to the persons. So we went to meet the director of the center, myself and my supervisor, and it was very funny. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with that information? We said, no, it's just for science, we just want to use it to the problem. And she's doing a lot, but she was really worried about information. Met with my friend in the TB in the school, then he directed me to Uruwa Specialist Hospital and go to Uruwa. Very well. So you can see, because of the job and data, they were not fully. And that's the problem with willingness to allow people to have access to data. So without data, you can't do anything. Control anything. Data tells you what is going on and what is this. But I think data, you don't have to ensure confidentiality and information. That's good to use. Some in clinical medicine, there's practical design for clinical data sets, and then those of us in the have our oral of simple needs. Next slide. So, on the issue of data management, it's not about data transfer, share reasonably, follow techniques, and this is something very, very important. Very because it's a discipline in the way we publish and we look at it. If you start comparing your to someone in pure mathematics, you that is highly huge. You can't tell us that your measure of impact, say citation, for example, should be exactly the same with us when the number of output applications are not the same. I'll give you a simple example. Especially a publishing company has a huge array of journals for those in the life and environmental science, a huge array. But for those of us in sciences, especially in mathematics, it's not much. And even in mathematics, it doesn't publish anywhere. Some journals will tell you this is only for pure math. Some journals will tell you this is for applied math. But people tell you this is for applied math, it should be narrowed to only when you use it, and so on and so forth. So you can't compare yourself to that array of access to passing your information to those other subject areas that have very, very few. And that's the reason why I say it's a very, very touchy area. But at the same time, we must still discuss it because it is the proper way of aligning your research with the public. Open access. Open access. That's the issue we want to talk about. What do we mean by open access? It's exactly what those two words say. Open access. Open access refers to the free, immediate online availability of research outputs, such as journal articles and scholarly books. Take note, it is not only that these things are free on the internet, that's your free on the internet. That's not necessarily what makes it open access only. It is the fact that certain rights have been ceded to the public to use your work, actually based on the kind of license you or the publishing house have accepted for adopt. So when you make your work open access, you are simply saying your work is free for people to use. It's going to be free on the internet. People will read it. People can manipulate it. People can use it for good, open to all, without any money being paid by the public. That is a very good model for us as researchers. It's a very good model for us to disseminate our research works, for people to see our works, because it's free. Nobody needs to pay for it. I got an email from someone in Thailand recently, and the person was requesting for one of my papers. One of my papers. So my subscription they have to pay. And I was worried that I thought the institution has grants for that. I said no, I really needed that. So I have to send him a copy, PDF copy, my own from my laptop. You know, but if I make it open access, you won't need such anything. You just put people on the internet, see it, use it, and then acknowledge it. That is the important thing, acknowledge the source of the research. Why is open access a good model for publishing? Even though it has a prospect back, but a good model for publishing. Number one, your work will have greater impact. Sometimes you see some people, they will post the citations of their works. So my work has over 1,000 citations. Even if I put them with some of my papers, that my paper has also number of citations. It's a good thing. Of course, if your work is free on the internet, people won't pay to get it. You don't know what people read it. It's obvious. They will read it. People will read it. People will read it. People will adopt it. People will modify it for their own work. So that's one of the benefits of it. Your work gets greater with likely more citations. Another important thing is to have a wider global audience, which is very important. We should think research beyond revolution. And I keep saying this in this school, this university. When you write your paper, you go beyond the issue of I gather you want to become lecturer, or small lecturer, or associate professor. We should think about global impact. And that's what this time is about. Global impact. And open access can allow you to achieve global impact. People know, even without seeing face to face. You know, I have a story. Not saying yet. But the world. What don't give me a billion to I was like, I was right. I said, what do you need to do? In a conference, make the whole and more. They needed to see me for him to present his work at the conference in Barcelona. So the wider audience was really for that particular paper. ResearchGate allowed me to post it for free. For free. So it's on ResearchGate, you can download it and so this your work, it's still because you have their subject area and you divide it into that space. Another benefit of open access is the issue of innovation. None of us should think that research ends with us, that any particular subject area ends with us. When we leave this world, others will continue from where we stop. And that's the beauty of OA, open access. When you do your research at this level, someone will take it up, take it to this level, another person will take it up, and keep going. That is how research is. And that's what open access does. When your research is out there and you open, people can easily build on it. Policymakers can benefit from open access. They may not understand the mathematical jargon or the biological jargon, or you may need to, to keep it so that you can understand what you're saying. Next slide, please. Now, when it comes to practice publication or publishing, you may have to worry about two major things. Who funded the research? If it's a publicly funded research, usually that funder will ask you to publish it open, so that the whole world will benefit. I don't know whether test fund allow for open access publication. I don't know. I'll check that out. I know many funders, professional funders, will insist you publish your work open and let the whole world use it. However, if you publish your work privately, that is using your money. Well, your last camera now, maybe they're watching all over the world. I cannot see what I want to see. They say this is the only place with our salary to publish, which is an ridiculous thing. I was discussing with a friend of mine in the US. We're talking about publishing something open, and the next thing I said, you don't have money. What do you mean by that? It's on head of. They don't understand. But those guys in the US, those ones funded by the, they don't understand what it means. They don't have money to publish. Are you in the university? Anyways, I won't talk now. The other issue you need to worry about when it comes to open publishing is the issue of licensing, and this is very key. I told you before, I said if you publish open, it does not necessarily mean you are satisfied or open publishing. If you publish open, nothing needs to. But you know what I said. Okay. So I was saying that even if you publish books, that your work is on the internet, does not necessarily mean your moral. No, you need to attach a license. Point is, can you and I afford publishing, for example, in Lancet, open access, Nature, open access, Science, open access, third, these are journals, third, open access. I think the minimum for Lancet is about $11,000 for you to publish. Please don't compare that to Naira, because you are very poor. Don't compare that to salary. So you see, these things are they have the benefit, but the problem for us is what do you get money to do that if you don't have support? Open access gives your work wide open, but the problem is it costs money. So much money. That's all about the world, there is support. I'll show you an example. One of the work I did open access, but I will explain to you how it does this. There are 3 different routes for open access publishing. There's what we call the gold access, which is full access. No holds barred. Your work can be tweaked as they like. Your work can be manipulated as they like. Your work can be used to make money. No holds barred. It's a good one. The green round is simple. You will publish your work via subscription, but the legal right is given to you to put the good text on the repository. This happens a lot in Europe, even in the UK. I think there's one particular one in the Netherlands, I've forgotten the name now, that allows you to put all scientists in the Netherlands to put their work on that repository to full text. Even when the work is still on that subscription in the journal, that's what we call the green route. The diamond route is usually supported by societies And then library stuff, like maybe you just in a library, will be subsidized and assist us pay for that. If you want to find the list of open access journals, this is all of us, please go to DOJ. DOJ means Directory of Open Access Journals. There are so many. Plus, be wary, be very wary. Some journals parading themselves as open access are actually crap. They just want money. They just want people to just be putting money. Their review process is in shambles, no proper peer review, just because of the money. So be wary of journals who parade themselves as open access. Look for standards of book, and for the best, for the highest quality. Q1, Q2, Q3 journals using Stimagora again. Best journal that are open access. Publishing them. It's very expensive, no problem, but publishing them. You get more respect in that. Now publishing a journal that was published in your material, and then you tell you that it's open access. This is one of my work that I did with one of my farmers. If you look at when the journal was published, it's published in Frontiers in Microbiology. I want to believe it's something that no problem. Microbiology. Now, when people see this about what is the mathematician microbiology? Microbiology. Look at the title to tell you the nature of the work. The analysis of a mathematical model for tuberculosis with variability and susceptibility and disease progression due to difference in awareness. There's one mathematics in it. I'm not going to show them. When I was to publish this work, I was asked by the editors, I started the chief editor, that because they loved the work and they were enjoying the impact of the work on TB control, I will have to move the mathematical areas to a supplementary article or the appendix. They just do that. That's no problem. As far as me, I'm reading the work, flows, makes sense to you as well. It's open access. But where did I get money to pay? I did not pay one. Now, this is one of those areas where you don't be lucky. The editor-in-chief sent me the payment, but I told him I don't have the money. So I have $5,000. $5,000, you know that how we think now about like this. The man was bent on having this work of the editor-in-chief. And because of that, they waived for me. I didn't pay for this particular one was waived. I didn't pay anything. So sometimes you could be fortunate that some of the editors will like your work and they're waiting for you. Because several open access journals have waivers for developing countries that developing whereby what people so-called waivers are. It is still big. You are waiting for $3,000. It's still big for Nigeria. It's still very big. Maybe if it's $2,500, $2,500. It's still okay, $500. Bro, they're doing that. It's still big. So at the end of the day, you just somebody does you. This was done for me. I think the has of course everyone. That's part of my talk now, which is on impactful determination. We have done our research. So it's now time for determination. People return out. Again, this is where we have some misconceptions. We only have this feeling that if I do research in EMT, for example, that work is only meant for those in EMT. If I do a work in plant biology, that work should only be read by those in plant biology. If I do a work in life science, you should simply work past it without it. You see, when we keep having this dichotomy of knowledge, forgetting that knowledge, the one that God made, the pure knowledge that God made, actually has no discipline. Did you get what I just said? Yeah. The pure knowledge God made has what? No discipline. That's the reason why we will always say God is a lawyer. God is a great lawyer. He gave this like he's also a lawyer. We say it's everything. So knowledge itself, you can look at it. I mean, broken that encompasses several disciplines. If you critically look at it. And that is the reason why when it comes to dissemination, you have to tell yourself, those who are not in your field may be interested at work because their own discipline will have an impact on it. Go to the next slide. Oh, yes, when you want to disseminate your work, do you want your work to reach academic and non-academic? Like I told you guys, I mean, so chemical models and physiological models. One biological is to write down mathematical equations for them, understand the workings and the insight of these problems. So if I have some mathematicians to help me paper or say HIV dynamics or COVID-19 dynamics, will I write in a way that only mathematicians will understand? Or I write it in a way that the biologists understand? Or even to me, more importantly, the policy makers will understand. No matter how much work you do in this country, if you want the country to change, all the shouts of what's going to change, it is in the hands of the policy makers. They are the ones that will still sit down and take a decision on whether to accept the findings or not. If the policy maker in the ministry and include so much molecular diagrams, that talk is already there on arrival. But if you write it in a way that they can understand, they will be able to make some condition. So you have to worry about the target audience. What about NGOs? If I'm going to target an NGO, how will I fit my research? That's what I'm saying. Who is most affected by my research? What are journalists? Some journalists play. Journalists. I don't start from I met two people, journalists, one from AIP and one from another online blog like that. I was discussing and they were saying that they were taking my works and they were going to propagate it. And I don't know how I'm going to show you guys later on. Journalists are very important in helping us send messages out. Yes, we put our works in journal, conferences, and so on and so forth. But I can assure you, if you want to work to go far, journalists, they are very important mediators. You have to have the media or the medium you want to use in bringing out your research. For most of us who are lecturers, of course, because of promotion, we publish in journals. That is understandable. But it is also needed. I tell you earlier, if our goal is not right now to become professors, to become lecturers, to become this, and we will have no impact. We will have zero impact. Our work should be used. That's the purpose of the university. Come with research work that can be of benefit for mankind. So when I publish in the journal, what other language can you use for propagating information on that kind of work? Blog posts are becoming very popular now. People now post their works on blog after taking permission from the publishers. Tweeting, people now tweet their works. Yeah, many of them Twitter account and now tweet their works. Instagram, I was there to write there's also many people who work on Instagram because we're going to look at pictures of it. But I think we're going to look at a picture of a paper. I was excited Instagram. So some of us should not look down on Instagram where people just put conferences. When we look at conferences, we should look beyond just talking at conferences. I'm telling you about the experience. Most organizations are good avenues for dissemination. If you're going to talk in the conference, they won't give you more than 5 minutes to talk. For other presentation, people have the luxury of time to move around. Now, look at your work. I'm going to go very fortunate to meet one big man who very quick sponsor your work. Workshop, seminar, symposium, technical report. These are the news you can use. Go on to all my time. But I'll keep talking. Something else that you have to worry about, which I'm very happy Vice Chancellor is already working on, and the Vice Chancellor every representative. You know, at our university at some point was well planned. We should not be ashamed to face the fact that we are so low now. And we should not be ashamed. There's nothing. What do we do? Blind to ourselves when we pack our own. And that's why my master is discussing the importance of no time or staff. Just like I mentioned. And I'm happy the IT people are here. And then I told children to listen. So they know the important. They have sent us emails. Profiles are too important. If you have a unique profile, that's a window to the world already. Clear window. Personal websites. I've been trying to do mine now. I mean, I think with WordPress, they wouldn't host it for you free. All right. So having your own personal website, not individual website now, your own personal one. www.daniel.whatever. Okay.
and the technical in this vocation. And happy because that are here. And I know if any error that we need to do. Brilliant among them is Professor EOT. And according to class 8, our state The answer to that question is no. The reason is that we did not do research early enough. It's not that we are not intelligent. Yes. That's what they did to Dr. Coleman. They made effort to reach out to him because they saw his research. When I looked at it, I said three arrows that are connected to research. It brings recognition, it brings ranking, it brings reward. I did not want to talk about this. I just wanted to talk about the rankings of Nigerian universities. The universities in Africa. When we look at African universities, a Nigerian university, which University of Ibadan, came out in number 18 position. Of university. And a Nigerian university came out number 18 position. I was thinking that it would be number 1 or 2. But I was surprised that the universities in South Africa came first, second, third, fourth, followed by university in Egypt. Another university in Egypt. I saw a Nigerian university number 18. To change, we have to change the paradigm. We can afford, we got the money, we got the resources. Why are we starting from below? With so much respect for the University of Benin, the university has one rank number 1 in Nigeria. And again, today, what repeatedly comes as number 1 the University of Ibadan. For I feel we don't have to order. Great university. Great university. Great. Very good. Your university right to number 1. And how do we our the truth is that in ranking and award are the drivers of, can you please just get me some statements I'm giving today are inspiration-based statements. The drivers of recognition and award in the academia is research. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to celebrate and give a very honorable welcome to my father, Elder Opti Okrofamoni and Signature Mr. So what drives rankings and award is the research base that you have. And please just look at this. These are 10 most recognized researchers and their institutions in Nigeria. Number 1 is Professor Kureji, a psychiatrist in University of Ibadan. 388 publications, 18,038 citations. If a man has 18,000 plus citations, why would this institution not be number 1? Because in recommended ranking, it is your president that they use. Prof. America. The number 1 and most cited author in Nigeria is that man. And if you go again, you see another one, Batiri Okuni. These two people alone, they are enough to make the rest of Ghana to keep being number one. Why? They have got adequate education that are well settled. But for today, the most settled young person in the whole of West Africa is the Bakari Obu, which we brought the investment. The reason why not as much as the others is that the time when those ones started, it was still in a student. But came from nowhere and ran fast in the rain and became number two. If you calculate that in the past 15 years, who is most likely in Nigeria is the one. Is the number one parenting in the world, in Africa, in terms of citation and publication, in recent years. We are happy because I saw him very. Yes, we are happy because we got someone that is keeping us, making us like Professor Okono. I want us to put that down together. Thank you. He is number 5 in your. Thank you. If you withdraw him from database, you never. Can you say that again? Can you say that again? There will no time. Well, Okonofa was okay. Are two people that if you their names on it, if you remove them from Unibank database, we will not score about 20. These are scholars that inflate research data landscape. Funding of research. Who will pay for what? Research funding is a grant that you receive to do research and it's very competitive. You secure it through them. The grant provides money, equipment, and attendance. The grant is the form of conducting research activities. People are focused on grants. Somebody met somebody somewhere saying, "Have my proposal, have my proposal." And they what if the proposal was not like? They just had it already have a budget in front. What's your budget? I want to buy a chip. What are completed? They are budgeted to buy a chip. Profile. And I'm going it's not a big deal. So, other people too. Some granting bodies that can get grants. And I want the students to put an eye on this. This one is a research grant. Actually, research grant is bigger than your own money. I did it with you because of the use. So I don't think that the highest one of all is here. Tomorrow, the highest source of funding in the world is grants given for specific purpose. So after I get there, I want to appeal to you as students to get enthusiasm to research. I will tell you your place in research in my life. I have a reserved slide for students with respect to their relevance in research and grantmanship. I will get there very soon. But just an eye on this presentation. I have said only one body. One of it is the TED Talk. And I said some time ago, I said the God that brought the TED Talk idea to Nigeria is a great God, and it can only be the Almighty God. Because what TED Talk is doing right now in research and development. There is no other agency that can respond. This book that you see was written by about 32 authors in Nigeria and in abroad. By the grace of God, I coordinated this book. I got a national award for it. Second gave the money that produced 2,000 copies of this book. Second, Nigeria federal government produced this book for free as a grant. And it is from this book I gathered just this 7 list of granting bodies. If you want to hold grant, if you want to have grant, you look at chapter 21 of this book. The book is 2,500 naira because it was done by Federal grant. But what we are telling is that they don't pay for the physical production, they don't pay for the mental involvement. They don't pay for the physical infrastructure that produces the book, they pay for the intellectual property that they have. So when we sell a copy, we go back to give the money to the author. Why? Content creators on Facebook and Twitter are paid massively. It's only in academia that we create content and we always we are even told to publish our content. Content creators post things for free and they are paid. And I begin to challenge that paradigm that I will bring my thinking to digital world. I'm tired of analog systems of institutions because it does not pay. So I'm trying to take the justification for paying for this. So I just thought we have to cover. I want to talk about one chapter of this book connected to this slide. Sources of grant. Over 80 sources of grant are in chapter 21 of this book. So you can buy for 2,500. The lady there can help you to get a problem after this presentation. On the next slide, connecting your research to grant. What can be funded? What can be funded? What qualifies a research for funding? You want to get a grant? You want it to be funded? You want to travel abroad, like the number of times you can travel without paying for the expenses. Like Professor Okonofa had it on record that you have traveled for years now for different research activities are going to pay in terms of the training. And some people did not believe. But in the past 4 years of my life, I've visited no less than 7 countries. I have not paid a dime for anything. What is research? It is scientific scholarly creative. And I do the heading. So, what your research was carrying for disruptive innovation. somebody as much. So because I wanted to increase. The person told me, say, go, no money, go and meet Tesco. And I can left the hall. Things that happened in that place because they rejected from the base of economic life in the event they understood. Credit to university because they are trying to place up to manage the university. But I left them because there was a echo in my spirit. What was in the echo? Go and meet Tesco. What was in my heart? It started re-echoing. And that was my entrance into the world of Tesco. Because I was rejected. A rejection projected me. And today, by the grace of God, in it's not fraternity food. They have it represent into God and your distinct fraternity. It's not fraternal. It's not familiar. It's not family lineage. It's not social, not political, not not appetite driven. That you want to build a house, say you want to get the grant to build a house. That's diversion. It's not appetite driven. It's not commercial. It must be interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. It must be intellectual, knowledgeable, competent, and expertise driven. It must be institutional, interfaculty, interdepartmental, driven by critical thinking, problem-solving ideas. Relationship should be historical, technical, intellectual, and systematic. When I formed a research group, I got to Abuja to defend the truth. Let something show up previous relationship you have had with these members of the research. And thank God, I had published articles with them. So our journal article became our finding factor. So we worked on e-waste, when Sadula was there, so this was there, that's why it's there today. We worked on this formaldehyde exposure, this was there, that's why it's there today. I was able to justify the inclusion of everyone in the research because before this their grant, we have done research and our binding factor were our research outputs. You don't have to say output to anybody. You are alone, you are just putting on your own. You say they should put you research, you are playing. So that's why I put most of those things there. And of course, it should not be paid. It should not be driven by bureaucratic deficit, unhealthy competition, extortion, rivalry, suspicion. And also, there should be honor in scientific integrity. When you want to execute research projects successfully, these are some of the ways I have put down there. You can have it because I know the organizer to give you this slide. Then, when I executed the project, these are from 7 steps you should look at in executing your research project. central consideration, funding, solving and managing funds. There are heartaches and what? Headaches. Funding and managing research. And researchers, we are not changed so much in accounting. But all we face is that when we get the grant, there's a problem. You may get a grant and the grant teaches you trouble. Why? When you were doing your budgeting, you were not meant to work in budgeting. You cannot get a grant that you need 50 million to execute. But you go and do budget for 25 million. When they give you that grant, you are in immense trouble. Why? You don't have adequate mentorship in financial or research education. You don't have adequate mentorship for what? For what they call it budget. A number of professors that go to research university have experienced the budget problem. This is a schematic way of doing your project execution as a researcher. You can look at it from one job post to another, and you can have an insight into it. In our own project that we're executing right now, these are some key components of project execution: project monitoring and evaluation, making your vision plain, letting all your research group members know the vision of the research. The vision of the research is not for self-enrichment, it's for execution, for problem solving. Then, goal and objective must be well defined. Take your research notes, do your periodic progress report, do your monthly evaluation and review meeting. Either a show which you want. Talking about apart from this, other ways. Institutional infrastructural enhancement. Like in our own case, we have a research lab that we have equipped right now in the University of Benin. And this research lab has mentored and trained students. Today, even students will come to our research lab and say they want to do IT. We will receive them, we train them. How? Why? That's the research impact. Apart from publication, we provide well-equipped laboratory for train university students. So one of the easy commercial research impact is mentorship and training. Our research impact right now has produced from PhD and master's degree. Research impact also plays a form of the job it brings. As a researcher in University of Benin, we have employed graduates of Benin as research assistants too, and we have paid them for a number of months. If we did not get the grants, we will not be able to do that. So it creates room for job employment for bodies and like research assistants, research associates. Again, research can also be measured apart from publication by the patent and the product it gives. That's translational science. Translational research. Research can also be measured by the number of disruptive innovation produced from it, development of paradigm, society, societal reform, policy reform, practices. Research can also be measured by some things that you see in the tech world, Silicon Valley, emerging technologies, Google, Apple. These are products that came up and they were enhanced and they became good for what? As indices of research impact. So these are other ways you can measure research impact besides publication. Look at it. We look at mentoring of researchers as part of the impact of our research. Since we got the 2019 National Research Award, we have been able to mentor people from the following areas: geography. The testimony of this geography man is a non-academic star that became a junior academic star, had an idea about contact in Africa, and he used the idea of contact, multi-research to get the national research grant. We contributed to the support that led to that. Engineering, medicine, life sciences. A number of people have tapped into the spirit we received from God that grant, and they have been transformed. They are not just intended grant winners. This area in this university, we are trying to mentor, and they have gotten their national research grant, and they are already implementing it now. That's part of the impact. We also produce develop service lab in the University of Benin. The only functional Drosophila research lab in the whole United is our group. We have slides that we have trained for over 2 years. These slides are called man. Use this slide to do it. Instead of collecting blood from man, we will dissolve this slide and use the blood. What can we do? We are proud to have a functional Drosophila lab. See the slide. Very interesting. Now, this is that vice chancellor received content from us, and she has been very, very engaged and glad that making us impact. You producing it to manage the other things. Programming of the man and most cited African science is number 2. So, 1, Center for International Research, but impact of responsibility is still on. In addition to the journal that is published, this is functional things that bread and match you eat and hear them. Trick. I cannot. Instead of just getting that they enrich fiber and other ingredients. When you enter into it. That's a product of research, impact of research. American President John Kilish market internationally exportable people in the industry. They don't use no so can kill them. Those matches are ready. See how bones inside. The danger can come with a chemical that can trap toxic substances. And we put it around the hole in the face mask. Those substances are coming, it will trap it. It cannot lose man. Sorry, shitoma. What on the nose can trap on the and we went further to get the shitoma from instead of allowing patients to the environment, we pick it up, grind them, and we are doing environmental investigation and one. On the other hand, we are using ways to working resources that can get map. And this is the picture of the note map there. This is the other note map on the right. To the left is Chico map, which is an innovative intervention to solve inhalation problem in occupational and environmental setting. That's our patent in Garoua for 2020. So my final remark on this issue, research management, execution and collaboration. The government has a role, industry has a role, and the scientific community has a role. Time research parks have a role. And you will see this. Can you play that video for us to just quickly see? Just go to the under one. Click on that video, go to the under there, and to the under, there's a play on the other here. That's a research park in Surrey, Guildford, United Kingdom. This place, the only way I can describe it is like back of Univen, that side, that side. You know back of Univen, that side. You will not create a research park. A research park is a concept where it lands to people, a lot of industries that have very chancellor are interested in research and collaboration. You will soon hear about Univen Research Park. All the inclusive collaboration in the power and drive research. Then the concept of the substructure. What is the substructure? The foundation of the video is called the substructure. And undergraduate students here, undergraduate students, you are the substructure. That's why I recommend your importance in research. Some of the things we are doing today, all those government, all those staff, they were the thinkings of students in developed countries. And I know our students here can do better.
Yes.
You cannot neglect the substructure when not to talk about collaboration and research. Some of the things that will make a professor go all over the world is inside the brain of the student. If you undermine a student, you undermine the talent they have. I'm already affecting my students at all levels. It's affecting them. I'm already affecting them. And some of our students are here, they know how I value them. And then I go to class and I say, answer to the question, I give you money. And the ones that I give them one of them is here. Are you there? If you can answer the first question, you get those awards. But I look at it, so they will not be able to answer. I say all of you, that's how they are. I went to the class. They say, wow, that's not in my house. I just can't give you. I just get what when I was lucky that day, they were about 70. My money was saved. And when I came back, when I was back, I thought I would do that and before they were start. So, the form structure as displayed is very important. Followed by the superstructure, that is the one, the structure after the foundation. The most important is the word infrastructure. Collaboration is beyond writing paper together. Bro. No, not government. My idea of collaboration is infrastructure connected with infrastructure, connected with substructure. When you can connect at the level of foundation, the upper part of the building, and the brain, the ideology that is driving to that effective collaboration. When a drug production company can come and form a unit in the Univer research part for interface with pharmacy, that's collaboration. Now, the most big lab industry in Nigeria, is still lab, we form and form in the Univer research part, form a diagnostic center that when we are teaching medical lab inside class, we say let's go to the lab and look at ICDMS machine. Let us not learn it, let us go and look at it. That's what collaboration. So that's why I put them there. The neighbor between substructure, superstructure, and infrastructure. Join learning from this shows for you that students on the substructure, undergraduate and postgraduate students. And that's why I cherish the University of Ibadan. The first time I saw the Director General of Platform was when teaching school of the University of Ibadan did a postgraduate retreat for all students. They gathered all the students of the university who are doing postgraduate. They brought giants in the field of research to come and train us. And as we were speaking, the VP came and said, students, is anybody troubling you? Are you having problem with any teacher or researcher? They gave us, we take 3 times. They brought the director of network, we shook hands. I knew that I was in a great place. But I don't keep it to myself. I'm going to meeting of the SP investor of the meeting. I think, can we replicate some of this my international exposure and exposure where I say in this book, can we not do a programming with you? So there is something similar. I'm still going to talk more. The new thing of the one where which is when it comes, I'll go and give it a piece of ideas that will help us to develop a better investing. Listen, it's all sufficient to have something in your purpose. It is important to share it for the growth of your institution. In conclusion, what is investing stands for? Recall that the word investing is derived from Universal Magistrum et Scholarus. It means community of teachers and scholars. My reflection and striving philosophy of this is that if university teachers and scholars are not involved in worldwide research, development, and innovation, the university is reduced to a mere post-primary institution. May this not be the symptoms of our university. For university to stand out, its research will stand out. Stand out, make you stand out. And be envied among nobles. Even the king, James I, in his comfortable palace, looked at what other things he could have done apart to be the king, and he envied the role of a university teacher. He made a statement, he said, we are not the king, I will be a university man. We are not the king. What would have been prepared my status in life would have been to be a university man. I thank God today. I came to this school as a graduate. I can say I'm an university man now. Because looking at the vertical introspection, so my stride over the years. I think that helped me to grow. Even though I want to put my head on the ground, to be honest, but I know I have grown. This is one thing I want you to look at. Where a researcher will produce something, maybe a machine, it does not have money to make it fit to become a product. Even we have a forum, what we call bioscience entrepreneurial lab, where research ideas are brought to the bench. Founders from industry will come and say, did you say this bitter leaf can cure cancer? And you are researching. Okay, I will join.
Thank you very much. Let me begin. Let me invite Dr. I.H. Binota to give the citation of the guest lecturer. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to read the citation of Prof. Emmanuel Nwabuna. Emmanuel Nwabuna is a professor of chemistry in the Department of Chemical Science, Regional University, Nigeria. His research work is focused on the development of very cheap functional materials for treatment of water and wastewater. He is currently developing photocatalytic materials from low-cost sources for water treatment. He has published several articles in international peer-reviewed journals and has 2 national patents.
He has won several research grants, including the Cambridge Africa, the Academy of Medical Science Global Challenge Research Fund Network Grant Scheme, 12 research grants for collaboration, and so on. He also registered of several national and international awards and research fellowships, including throughout Rota, Young Scientist Award, Kozobu Young Scientist Environmental Award. After Union Trust Young Scientist Award, a basic science, technology, and innovation, the Alexander von Humboldt postdoctoral research fellowship, and the first Nigerian Academy of Science Gold Medal Prize. He is the founding president of the Nigerian Young Academy and an alumnus of the same. He is also an alumnus of the South Young Affiliate Program and the Global Young Academy. He is a fellow of the African Science Leadership Program and a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Science. He has successfully supervised and supervised several MSc PhD students. He is currently the Director of Academic Planning and Quality Assurance, Redeemers University, and also the Director of Redeemers University African Science of Excellence for Water and Environmental Research. I welcome you. I will present to you Professor E. Umabuna for his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. Thank you for that citation. And I want to thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Lilian Salami. I want to appreciate the HOD. Can you hear me?
Questions and comments for the guest lectures that we have received so far. So if you have comments, questions for the guest lecturer, we would want to take them now while we are waiting Zoom connection. Thank you. Questions, comments? It looks like we all understood what we thought. That's a good sign.
I want to ask a question. Our students here, I expect you to ask questions. So since you are not asking, let me start it off. So maybe when I start, you will come up with questions. I just want to.
I need to share my screen. I need to share my screen. They should enable me, and they should enable me to share the screen.
Okay, so the connection is here. Maybe this.
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Gentlemen, the Zoom connection is off. Let us listen to our guest lecturer, Professor Emmanuel Unaboya, Redeemers University.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. I'm just trying to share my screen, but I think someone needs to enable me to share the screen. It says host disabled participant. Yes, the video is not the thing. I think you should enable me to be able to share my screen.
Please, you want to keep an accounting data, a lot of people want to pay the account and have it. So we'll just announce the accounting data to you shortly.
Hello? 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 Can you enable me to share my screen? Hello, Prof. Yeah, they need to enable me to share my screen. They need to enable me from their end to share my screen. Without that, I cannot.
We will take the comment. Please, let us take our how much mathematics do you need to have before I can look to see another people that work with it? How much mathematics do you need to have before you can see you can model in the life sciences? I'm happy that someone will reference this. Not that people are there. It's a good thing that the reference. Because you want to function clear knowledge and feel that if I go to look at from the eye of an ELT expert. Those ones are things you need to connect other subject areas. Funny enough, some students here check out what to spend. The last time they do my manager to 200 Well, in the same time, as department in the college and move those orders. Move those maps. And they don't. Now, I told my daughter, they are not seeing that. The truth about that is mathematics is the foundation, is the language that all of nature rests upon. That is the reason why it's for people to use mathematics to understand the dynamics of the things. That is what I'm telling you. I'm not saying you want to be a mathematician, because mathematics is discipline. Just like the medical laboratory science and all the things. However, you are going to see that all these things require tools, not anything. A little of the better, a little of analysis. So, what I would say, Professor, we need to reach our curriculum. A bit of the subject I introduced I know some of us are afraid of the car, this, that. The people throw away that, yeah, we can easily incorporate it into not much, but the basic mathematics needed to understand pharmaceutical process. If we incorporate ability on that problem. So we need to start with the basic stuff. Think of math is being taught at the 100 level with flow, which is okay. But we need to pick it up. Once we do that, I believe that here we do that. But if you don't do that, you don't go have to jump that step now. And the one that is what happening to find here. You see, that's the problem. So we need to not be keeping the curriculum thing and introduce some basic mathematics that are very now.
Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Ah, the sound is bad. Sound is bad.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, if you want to have adequate student lecturer or student teacher or student researcher, one way to have it is when the student is able to provide during project supervision. I think that window, the students are trying to do a seminar or project. You can take advantage of that window to mentor them, to interface with them, to represent their talent, to build their talents. That's one. Another thing is that I would suggest to NUC that NUC should reform is the engagement rule, the rule of engagement. In Nigerian University Commission, the rule of engagement right now is that the student is enrolled into a program, and the student enrolled into a program, the student will register for courses that will be taught to the student, maybe 10 courses in the session. The lecturers take the curriculum for those courses and teach. That's what we do from 100 level to final year. We represent those who are registered. We see them coming to classroom. We see them receiving lectures based on the curriculum. That's the engagement that NUC has put on the ground. But things are changing. If somebody here knows NUC, let NUC to reform its rule of engagement. There should be a semester where there will not be lectures. It will be uniform all over the country. It can be called creative interface, scholarly content development. Students just come into a discuss with them, try to look at their talent, try to look at where they are going to. Try to know what they are thinking. You have taught students for 4 years. Everything is happening. Have you taken your course? Right now, you pass the faith. We can't get the bread and the talent in our students like that. What we do is our students today, they are submitted, is he intelligent? Is he making it well? We just call. We have never had opportunity of no lecture, no exam, free flow. Student, lecturer, let's go and go punches. Alpha, what do you know in life? What are the people doing that? That thing, you have to respect that. It is not because teacher is smarter than the student. It's because the teacher was very old and he went to school before the student. Ordinarily, some students are smarter than the teacher. It's not an insult to the teacher. And some students are confused. They are smarter, they don't have to direct. That's why they need teacher. If the teacher can groom you and mind your talent and make you understand your talent, that you are smart is not enough. But to understand your smartness the right way, that's why you need a teacher. So that interface should be in a school system. You know that what I just said now, my vice elsewhere. You know what I said now? Is that there is no time in the life of a student in UNILE from 100 level to 500 level. When you have had an informal discussion officially to talk about policy, to talk about content, to talk about impact of what you are learning on the student. What are the students become over the years? There's no such thing. The only thing we know, end of semester, exam, result, compute. So that's why I say anybody that knows the UC here, tell them that one man in university, they should change their rules of engagement. Their rules of engagement. Some of the things you do, Apple, Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, go and check it. The development of those things were the students of the university. Some of them were dropped out of the university. Because the university, they so much. Because it was somebody is having cancer, is eating him up, you know, the effect of the disease that making them grow. Preventive medicine is changing by knowledge. You go as much as you create hospitals to treat. You create platforms to teach people about diseases and how they can prevent it. So you must invest in knowledge for your society to have knowledge of preventive medicine. If it's not invest in educating people up to the grassroots, there's no way. So that's why there should be a synergy. Minister of Health could not exist in isolation in the night. The Federal Ministry of Health. They are not collaborating with the Federal Ministry of Education. The Federal Ministry of Education, they have a grassroots issue. And Federal Ministry of Health will also have two of them for they will collaborate and they will go to the grassroots. It will be effective. So the collaboration in the agencies of Nigerian government, we have to drive knowledge about preventive medicine. Without that collaboration, people are ignorant. People are ignorant, they can begin to cause it. That's one approach. Another approach is this. Don't be surprised that people know about disease. People know that when something is happening to them, they should go to hospital. But most of them think that they don't have faith in the Nigerian hospital system. That this is being in and the doctors will complicate it. Oh, if I go to hospital, now if I get my grandmother died, my auntie died there, that means I will die. So they are afraid of the health system. If you can build confidence in the health system, if somebody has a dip in the finger, it will run to the health system. If somebody has anything, it will run for a confidence. People come to an extreme and most of because that is the last option, they don't have hope. But when it is started, they don't believe in the Nigerian health system because they feel that there are so many deaths, there are so many mortality, there are so many problems, there are so many people that have died today. They all want to have died because of negligence of the health. So people don't want to live in it. For example, a doctor in UK said that please, he just prayed not to be sick. That if he falls sick, it's not about this doctor that will treat him. He said, don't pray to God. He is a doctor, that's the doctor. He said, don't pray to be the hands of his colleague. So that is it. People don't believe in the health system. They don't have options after the court. The Nigerian government want to do preventive medicine very properly, strengthen the health system. Let it be like foreign health system. People will come. Even when they have a simple headache, they will come. Thank you.
I think Dr. Edumai the movie was quite challenging. I'll listen to you with the second question. Maybe think about how you bring this barrier and speaking out. Lecturer, yeah, as a student, you know your lecturer.
Because they are come to bombard you. They say I know why they came. Meanwhile, I don't know. I came on my own. Yeah, nothing much. So I can attend to it. This is the that Professor Mike can discuss with you. You know they have a template. You are not supposed to go outside that template.
They make that your main point.
Because he was saying
Some guy was doing something like that yesterday. I was telling you. They used that thing because it was just putting like this. I said that's not what
just go straight. Just go straight to those items they are giving
and
you.
just be very concise. Some people are too detailed, so they won't have time to read it, and that may make you lose, the point.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's all. Then they were saying you should buy. They should spiral bind. Because when you say spiral bind, no, when they say spiral bind, this is actually spiral bind.
Yes.
This one,
Yes.
not soft bind.
No, so
Not the other one you normally use. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. That's there's another one. There are different
The modern one, they normally use
you
this.
can also use this.
Okay, that one, I'm saying they accept that one.
But they put spider binding.
They just put spiral binding
Then spider binding.
because you know, I don't know why they put
In our
spiral
time,
binding.
they didn't put, they were not so specific.
Maybe
They have their issues.
Maybe by spiral binding, they don't want the hard copy binding.
Yeah,
Because they didn't give us that instruction. Bind them. We said we should bind them. They didn't say spider binding.
Is it represented by Dr. Gudia?
I thought you had
We have no comments and questions.
going to collect.
Yeah.
You should be around today. Okay. I thought it's around.
We know that you know why we came.
Good afternoon. Hello? Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, sir. How are you? Yeah. I just picked the WhatsApp now, but the problem is that the network is a problem. It comes on and goes off, comes on and goes off. I don't know from which end the network is the problem, whether it's okay.
So, my question is, in this country, Nigeria,
People are not serious. Want me to come and give it talk? Your network is bad. Virtual. No, they wanted me to come. I said I can't come. It's too far. University of Benin. They said they will pay. I said, I'm interested. So how is it? Okay. Who brought you?
I didn't say this to you.
How? How? Just a minute. Hello.
One of the reasons why people fear mathematics is because in some abstract subject.
I
However, I've paid from the work we have.
honestly, I'm not going for another meeting. I told you people that I'll have to leave
With
by
so
1
much
p.m.
reality,
Now it's
and I can use
1:07.
to understand
Yeah,
reality.
my attention is
That's the
needed
reason
somewhere
why
else. Please.
I can use
Please.
mathematics to understand biological science, the life science.
I've been on the line since 10. I thought it was going to start at 10.
I work people in laboratory science after I left, and so you see, first of all, what I always tell my students like me.
Okay. Just give me a minute.
Studying mathematics as a discipline for its sake, and studying mathematics to use. Our advice to those of you who are
Give
into
me.
applied math.
Let me see if it's working. If it's
You are
working,
trained
I will
you are
spend
being
like
trained
30, 40 minutes.
logically.
This.
That's what mathematics is, think logically. That's the reason why from what
If it is working, just give me 3 minutes. If it's not working, that's the end. I'm not going to waste my
You
time.
can look at that. So you can go to about biomedical science as a modeler, biomathematics. That's what we have an area called biomathematics. So you can even put it into that area academically. When I was in England, when I was in Oxford, interestingly, we were made to work with two different.
Hello, can you hear me?
The first one I worked was with Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce, you know, the
Can you hear me?
engines for aircraft. And we worked there. I worked there. It was amazing to see
Hello?
how those guys rely on investigating the effect on the wing of an aircraft and the engine of the aircraft. You need to see go that way who are well paid for working with Rolls-Royce. The second group I worked with was the American.
Hello? Can you hear me?
It was only natural for me. Okay, so it wasn't natural to go to biological issue. But my advice is analysis very cheap logically. But you can fit it anywhere. You just try to find out and.
Thank you very much for let us now link up with the Zoom link.
Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear. Okay. Thank you. So good afternoon, Vice Chancellor, Professor Lilian Salami. Good afternoon, HOD, EMT, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm standing on the existing protocol. I have listened to some of the talk and it's quite interesting. And I want to say that it's like the last speaker stole into my own slides. I might be repeating some of the things he has said, but by and large, I believe no knowledge will be lost in repeating some of those things. I want to thank everyone. Thank you for bringing me here to speak to you. I'll be talking on strengthening research management skills for academics and global impact. I'll just be talking on 3 outlines. Two of them will focus on both staff and students, and then the third one will focus on staff, the faculty members. The first one is global challenges, research, and then research ethics. Then the second one is grantmanship, which of course the last speaker has really touched on, and I feel really happy to listen to him. Then the third one is mentorship, which he also touched on a bit in his talk. Let's look at the first one. And what is research all about today? The research we have today is focused on, hello, can you hear me? Okay, so today's research is focused on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and there are 17 in nature, or 17 in number. Yeah, if you look at them, you will see that they touch on every aspect of life, whether life on land, life in water, life anywhere around us in our environment. So as researchers in EMT, will find our niche in any of these sustainable development goals, maybe in one or several of them. But I personally work on goal number 3. Hello? 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 Oh my God. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. All right. So today's research is focused on these 17 sustainable development goals. Like I said before, they touch on every aspect of life, whether life in water, life on land, life everywhere around us. It touches on all aspects of life. I personally work on 3 and 6, which is good health and well-being, and then clean water and sanitation, which is 6. Sometimes I jump into some other aspects, life on land, quality education, and other aspects of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. All right. Global challenges today. We have several global challenges today, but one of them is really, really important, which is the climate change. And is the focus of most funding agencies. I heard the last speaker talking about funding agencies and how they fund research and all of that. But the truth is that climate change has become one of the most pressing challenges in our time. And a lot of funds go into climate change. And the result of climate change is scarcity of water, global warming, water shortages, extreme weather conditions. We find mudslides, earthquakes, flooding, tropical storms, cyclones, and all of that happening in our time today. In fact, here in Nigeria, we're feeling some impact of this climate change. One of them is flooding. We find out that a lot of places are flooded these days, and it's as a result of climate change. Then we have the diminishing sea ice. Of course, as the ice diminishes, the volume of the water in the sea rises. And once this happens, it must find its level. Water will definitely have to find its level, and that is the result of flooding. Then we have record-breaking temperatures. In the United States today, we find a lot of states within that continent having record-breaking temperatures. And we also have fire outbreaks in several countries. And then we have stressed ecosystems. All of these as a result of climate change. And there is need to actually deal with this issue of climate change. And that is why funding agencies are putting out money on any researcher or group of researchers who can provide solution or provide solution to some of these issues that are as a result of climate change, or to even reverse some of the issues that causes climate change. Now we have this nexus between the environment, water, and food. And of course, this nexus is being threatened by climate change. Climate change directly affects our environment. The environment also has, water is part of our environment, and the quality of water is important for our health. All 3 of them are important for our health. If the quality of the environment changes, then it has an impact on our health. If the water quality changes negatively, it has an impact on our health. Same with food. So all of these threaten our existence if we do not do anything about it. So there's need for us as researchers to find our focus in some of these topical areas and deal with them through our research and through what we do. Let's look at research. What is research? What is research in itself? Research is a systematic investigation carried out to discover new knowledge, expand existing knowledge, and also solve solve problems and develop new products and apps. Another definition says it's a systematic inquiry that entails the collection of data, documentation of critical information, and all of that. I heard Professor Okonga talking about data and how to manage data. Beautiful. That's part of research. That is really, really key in research. But one thing I want to mention also is that research is a systematic way of carrying out an inquiry or carrying out an investigation and coming up with solutions to existing problems or providing new ideas that will help bring about development in our society. That is research in itself. So if you carry out any research and that research has no impact on the society positively, then you are not doing anything meaningful. You are just doing what is called an academic exercise. So gone are those days where people just carry out research for academic purpose. Your research today must impact the society, must also have an impact on life, whether you are a mathematician, whether you are a statistician, whether you are a biologist, whether you are a chemist, whatever profession or whatever field of research you are into, you must tie it to solving a problem in the society. If your research doesn't solve a problem in society, then that research is useless. In carrying out your research, you must set some clear goals, very clear goals. You must make your goals also very smart. First, your goals must align with at least one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In order to get funded, if you do not align your research to any of those Sustainable Development Goals, you are not likely to get funded. In fact, your chances of getting funded is just about 5%. And if you are able to address cross-cutting issues under the SDG goals, then that gives you an advantage. For example, if you can marry the environment, your research in the environment to health, your research in the environment to gender-based issues, your research in the environment to some of those issues, cross-cutting issues in the Sustainable Development Goals, then you have an advantage. In doing this, you must be willing to cross disciplines. You must be willing to cross disciplines. You must be willing to interact with people in other disciplines to be able to achieve this purpose or this goal. And then in setting your research goals, you must have defined objectives. And these objectives must be SMART. We call them SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Where S stands for being specific. Your objectives must be specific. So you must avoid being vague with your objectives. They must be clear. Anybody going through your objectives must understand exactly what you want to do. Your objectives must be measurable. This is where many people also fail to put clearly their goals for research. Their objectives are not measurable. They just put out the objectives and walk away. How do we measure your objectives? So you must state how those objectives will be measured in the course of your research. Your objectives must also be achievable. The A stands for achievable. You might put out an objective and that objective is not achievable. And once the reviewers of your project, of your proposal, looks at your objectives and find that it's not achievable, they throw it away. They throw it out. It might be something really big, but not achievable. So you must ensure that your objectives are achievable within what you have, within the resources that are available to you. It must be achievable. Then it must be relevant. Like I've said before, it must contribute to knowledge, not only in your field of research, but also in the society. It must be relevant, must show strong relevance to society. Then it must be time-based. Of course, your research cannot go on forever. No research idea will run forever. So it must have a time limit that you cut it off, and then you'll be able to evaluate what you have done and see how far you have gone and what next to do. So you must set deadlines, you must set timelines for your research project. And your research goals must, like I've mentioned before, address societal needs, and then must be responsible. In setting your research goals, you must understand that the research you are carrying out must be responsible. There's what they call responsible research and innovation. We're going to talk about this now. Responsible research and innovation. This is a new direction in research, in the research world. You need to be responsible with your research. As you are carrying out your research, you must think of ways of carrying out your research that will not impact negatively on the environment or on the people around where you do your research. Not only on the people. Now it has been also said that even the animals must also be considered in the way we do our research. So if you are carrying out your research and you hope to get something from it, and it's affecting the environment, it's affecting the people around, it's also affecting animals around, or even the ecosystem, then that research is not deemed to be responsible. It's actually irresponsible. And responsible research and innovation aims at shaping the way we innovate and create new things or new ideas, taking into account what we call ethics or norms that should be followed in carrying out that research. Responsible research, by definition, is a way of thinking and doing whatever we do that guides our research and development in ethically appropriate ways. It ensures that social as well as commercial benefits are harnessed, and that any harm to social and physical environment is obviated or minimized. That is what the definition for responsible research. Now let's look at research ethics. These are sets of rules or guidelines that helps us to carry out our research in an appropriate manner. And that includes set of rules and guidelines that will help us look at the design and implementation of our research. It will help us also respect others and respect those in the society while carrying out our research. Such rules and guidelines will also help us use our resources and our research outputs in a proper manner, not abuse our resources in the course of carrying out research. And then it helps us to avoid scientific misconduct, and it regulates the way we carry out such research. Why is it important to have these ethics in carrying out our research? One of them is the fact that it will help us, to provide information or knowledge without, introducing error. That's number one. Number two, it will help us, it will promote the way we value ourselves when we collaborate. If there are no ethics, then collaboration becomes difficult. It becomes problematic. There are ethics to collaborative work. And when you go through those ethical guidelines, you are bound to follow through with them in collaborating with your partners or with those that are in your team. And when you do such, when you follow ethical guidelines, it brings trust, it helps with accountability, and then it brings mutual respect for one another in the team, in the research team. And then there's fairness in the way we treat ourselves, fairness in the way we distribute resources during the research activity, fairness in the way we go about our activities. So that's one aim for having research ethical guidelines in our research. And then it's also important to have ethical guidelines for our research because it helps us to be accountable, not only to ourselves as researchers or as scientists, but also to the public, such that if you carry out a research and somebody asks you, how did you carry out this research? You'll be able to say exactly how you carried out the research without affecting negatively those around you and the environment and even the ecosystem around you. It also builds public support for research, because when people know that you have followed the rules, the guidelines, then they respect you, whatever results you come out with from that research, and they take it seriously. But if you do not follow ethical guidelines, ethical approvals for carrying out your research, there's likelihood that the public will not take your research seriously. Now, there are principles for research ethics. The first one is honesty. As researchers, we need to be honest about the way we communicate our scientific information or scientific results. There's a lot going on in the scientific world where a lot of people are reporting or misreporting, data or reporting research outcomes that are misleading. And this has led to a lot of people withdrawing their articles from journals, or what we call retractions. This has led to several other things that are unpleasant to our researchers. In one situation, for example, in Japan, we were told that a student to a very respected researcher, doctored her data and published in very good journals. In fact, several of the journals were in Nature Publishing House. And unfortunately, somebody tried to reproduce that set of data and discovered that something was wrong with the report that was made in one of the journals by this student and her supervisor. And they had to go back to the lab and try to reproduce what they did, and did that severally, but did not get that result based on the procedures that they put out in their publication in a Nature journal. So they had to come out with their findings, and then Nature had to come up with a committee or a group of persons to investigate the matter. And they actually found that the student doctored her results in the lab. And this led to the supervisor being removed from his position in the university and even in the ministry in Japan. He could no longer hold that position he was holding in the Ministry of Science, I think Ministry of Science and Technology. And he became depressed. And in the state of depression, he decided to take his life. In taking his life, he wrote to his student and said, you must make sure that you reproduce those results after my demise. And he went ahead and hung himself and died. So this is one consequence of being dishonest. But this is not because the supervisor was dishonest, but the student was dishonest with the report. And this led to the loss of the supervisor's life. So we need to be very, very honest with our reports. And I tell my students, you need to report what you see. Even if you see it 10 times, report it 10 times. If you see the same thing 10 times, report it the same way. You may not know, you may be hitting a gold mine by what you have found. It may not be clearly known to anyone at that point in time, but perhaps later in life, we'll find the truth, or we'll know exactly what that data is, what the implication of that data is. And it might be something really huge. So we must report what we see, and we must be honest with our reports. We must be honest with our procedures. We must be honest with our methods. We must also be objective with the way we do our research without creating bias in our experimental designs, in our data analysis, in our data interpretation and peer review and all sorts. Once you create bias, once you begin to bias your experimental design, then you are not likely to be innovative, and you're likely to provide results that will be misleading. Some people walk towards the answer. That's a bias already. They know what they want. They have something at the back of their mind, and they walk towards it and say, okay, it should be about 5 milligrams of lead in this water. So they just put it out there and begin to walk towards that concentration in water. And when they get anything short of that, they try to doctor their result, and this causes a lot of problems. So you must be objective with your experimental designs, with data analysis and all sorts, data interpretations and peer review and whatever. You must be objective, avoid bias. Number 3, you must show integrity. You must be sincere and keep to your promises and your agreements within a team that is carrying out a research. If you are supposed to carry out a part of the work, please do it as at when due. And if you cannot, report to the team and say, please, hey guys, I can't complete this assignment for so and so reason. I'll be able to complete this assignment at so and so time. So be honest and keep to your words and be sincere with your actions within the team. Research ethics, it also involves being careful, not being negligent. And we find some of our students being very negligent. Of course, I ensure that my students keep their lab notes and keep their data accurately. You must write in your lab notes. The error of not writing in the lab notes is no longer accepted. You need to write in your lab notes, because now some journals request for that lab note. They want to be sure that what they are going through are correct, or at least have evidence of being done in the lab or being done, being carried out practically. So they want to see what you have documented, and they want to see the original version of what is documented. In some cases, they request for machine documents from the equipment. If you say you ran a scanning electron microscopy image, you provided an image of a material, they want to see the SEM image from the machine, not the one you have converted to whatever format. So we need to be very careful. Let's keep our results when we are carrying out our research. Like when I do some research and I don't need some results, I don't throw them away, I keep them. Because someday they become useful. You remember that, oh, I had a certain kind of result from somewhere, and you will go back to that result and discover that it's something useful. So don't throw away your results, keep them and use them when it is appropriate. You must be accountable. That's one principle of research ethics. You must be accountable. You must take responsibility for your own part of any research project. You must give an account of what you have done financially, scientifically, and otherwise. You must be accountable. And you must do that with all sincerity, with all honesty. And then you must give proper reference to those you have used their words, or those you have used their data or their information in your work. You must definitely recognize them by referencing them or giving credit to them in your work, in your research work. If you do not do this, then it is deemed that you have plagiarized. So we need to be careful not to plagiarize other people's work, because it comes with a lot of negative consequences. And I don't think you want to be part of those who will be named and shamed for plagiarizing other people's work. Do not use unpublished data or methods or results without permission. If you find an unpublished work, unpublished data, please find out who produced that data, or who generated those data, who used that method, who got that result. Even though it is not published, request for permission to use it before you use it for your work or publish it with your work. Confidentiality. You need to keep information confidential when it is deemed so. So if an information is meant to be confidential, please treat it as confidential. For example, some of us are being asked to review articles, and we find some articles very interesting, and we also know the authors of those articles. Instead of us to keep our review of that manuscript confidential, some of us may go ahead to contact the authors and say, hey, my friend, your paper is on my table, you know, and you begin to discuss the paper. You have already biased yourself. You have already biased the judgment you're going to make on that manuscript, and it is unethical. So you must treat communications confidential when it is deemed so. You must also treat publications, personal records, trade secrets, whatever it is, confidential when it is meant to be confidential. That's one of the rules of research, or one of the principles of research ethics. Then you must be responsive with your publications or with the way you publish. Do not publish because you want to publish or because you want to advance yourself, but publish because you want to contribute to knowledge and you want to impact the society. Be responsive with your research. Be responsive with your mentoring. Help to educate your students. Help to mentor your students. Don't torment them, but mentor them and advise them. Help them with their work. Guide them, direct them. Show them the right path. Don't keep, with some of us, I know of some of us who keep information from our students. You don't need to. You need to be open with your students, help them with information that will help them. Show it to them, show them the way that will make them grow. And in fact, like I tell my students, they are meant to be better, bigger, higher than me. And I always pray for them to be better than myself. And when you make such prayers, I can tell you the truth, you are also praying for yourself. Then research ethics, and one of the principles of research ethics is that you must be involved socially. You must show some social responsibility. You must educate those around you about what you do. You must also prevent your research from harming them. And rather than using your research to harm them, use your research to help them and educate them. Be involved in what they call citizenship research. You go out there, you talk to the people, you help them to understand what you do, why you do what you do, and what the benefits are to them in the society. Principles of research ethics. You must avoid being discriminatory against your colleagues or students, whether sex or race. In Nigeria, we discriminate not based on sex, but based on ethnicity and possibly based on religion. I see some groups who want to pick up people who are from a different religion based on their ideology. They want only those from a particular religion. This is unethical. You must treat all students the same, and you must be willing to accept students from different religion, from different ethnicity, from different race, students with different competence and different skills. You should not discriminate. Then you must follow the path of legality. If the school says these are the periods for research, please obey. If they say don't carry out research in this way, please follow it. So there are rules, there are laws, there are institutional rules, there are government rules you must obey in carrying out your research. And then we have the ethical issues for animals and ethical issues for humans. We're going to talk about that briefly. For humans, you must ensure that your research is beneficial to the individuals you are dealing with. And you must minimize the risk and harm that will come to any human while carrying out your research. And that should be done at the stage of designing your research. You must, in the course of designing the research, try to minimize any risk to human beings while carrying out your research. You must respect the rights of individuals. You must respect their decisions in carrying out your research, especially those research that involve, dealing with human subjects, talking to them, making them answer questions that are personal to them. You must respect their rights if they don't want to divulge such information. Allow their participation in your research to be voluntary. Do not force them into it. Once it is not voluntary, it is not ethical. So it has to be voluntary, and allow them to pull out at whatever time they want to pull out from your research if they feel uncomfortable with the way the research is going. And then research should be conducted with integrity and transparency. I've said a lot about that. There should be lines of responsibility and accountability, and those lines should be clearly defined. Who takes responsibility for what? Who accounts for what in the course of this research? In my research group, I have outlined those who are responsible for the different things that happen in the lab. Those responsible for equipment, those responsible for purchase of reagents, those responsible for the seminars we carry out every week. So there are lines of responsibilities, and they must be clearly defined. Independence of research should be maintained, and where there's conflict of interest, where conflict of interest cannot be avoided, you should make it very clear. So please be independent in your research, and where there's any conflict of interest, for example, if I know someone, can you hear me? Hello? 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 Yeah, can you hear me? Hi. So I've been talking, I didn't know. Okay. 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 All right. All right. All right. All right. No problem. No problem. No problem. All right. God bless you. Yeah. Honestly, I look forward to coming personally in person to speak. No problem. No problem. No problem. God bless you. All right. Yeah.